Ladies, gentlemen, and legends of all ages, Pokémon Legends Z-A has been out for nearly a week now, and the further into the game you get, the more you are probably going to be looking to put together your perfect team of Pokémon. And while having a team of Pokémon you just like for their personality and their aesthetics is a totally respectable way to play the game, it's the way that I tend to do it myself, sometimes you just want power. Sometimes you want to be stronger than anyone else, whether it be the other trainers in the game through things like the Infinite ZA Royale in the endgame, or actually bringing your Pokémon into the PvP game mode unique to Legends ZA2, which is a 4-player free-for-all of real-time combat, just slapping each other around, and Pokemon who get the killing blow gets a point. In Legends ZA, we are back to the Mega Evolution system as our unique quirk of the game, which is a really fun one to mess around with, and it essentially means that at the cost of your item slot, you have access to Mega Evolution with that Pokemon, which raises their base stats a hefty amount, usually plus 100 total base stats distributed between them, but not always. For some Pokemon, it can make them a dual typing, if they weren't already, or change their type entirely, and you can only have one Pokemon Mega evolved at a time. That said, your Mega Pokemon slot is a really important one because you can only really have one that you want to be a Mega consistently, and so today let's go over 10 of the strongest Mega Evolution Pokemon in Legends ZA. There's a couple of things to mention as we dive in. First is that there are no abilities in this game, so a lot of the things that made certain Mega Pokemon be meta in previous games does not apply within ZA itself. But that doesn't mean they are automatically weak either, because with nothing having any abilities, power is essentially defined by a mix of your stats, your typing, and your available moveset, and that's more or less all there is to it really. As well, there being a bunch of new Mega Evolutions in the game, I do want to spotlight a few of the new ones, so this may not be literally the 10 best Mega Pokemon, so much as 10 of the best with a bunch of new ones that are genuinely worth using if you like them. We will go through the list in a sort of upwardly progressing order, where the things at the end of the video will be the things I consider the strongest, and we'll be counting these Pokemon only for their Mega forms, as if they're your Mega of choice, that's when you really want to be using them actively in combat for the most part. All that aside, let's start with Chanedeleur. This is one of the new Megas, and the main reason it's here is just its insane special attack stat. It's slightly slower than I would like at 90 speed base stat, but 175 is its base special attack, and that's the highest base special of any of the Mega Pokemon in this game, except for Mega Zygarde, who, you know, is the legendary of the game, obviously the strongest Mega there is once you can actually activate it. But spoilers for this list, I won't be talking about Zygarde, because while he is obviously insanely powerful, he is obviously insanely powerful. You already know that. There's no point in taking a whole slot on this list to point it out here. So, second highest special attack of any Mega in the game, decent moveset, decent typings for actual resistances and weaknesses, just a generally strong Pokemon at the one cost of having relatively weak health pool. Next up then, let's talk about Scizor. Scizor was an interesting Mega even before this game, but that was heavily due to his ability that boosted the power of low power attacks, making things like Bullet Punch a really strong combination with him. But while there are no abilities in ZA, priority moves like Bullet Punch are also way better inside of this combat system. Priority in this game means that it will teleport your Pokemon to the target when you perform the attack. Bullet Punch specifically has the joint fastest attack animation in the game, as well as the joint lowest cooldown, which means even just Bullet Punch itself is great for general combat, but also this makes it exceptional in PvP for finishing off an opponent before anyone else and then stealing the point from them, without even considering the rest of the moveset that he has. On top of that, he also just has great attack and defense base stats. He's one of the two great choices for a priority move focused physical attacker, and out of the two, he's the one that has slightly higher attack and defense, as well as being, you know, the bug type and steel as his dual typings. He has a ton of resistances, and his only real weakness is fire, though he is 4 times weak to fire. After that, we've got Mega Starmie, which is one of the hilarious new ones in this game, and, well, as far as why it's on the list, it just has super high base stats. As mentioned before, most Mega Pokemon gain plus 100 to their base stat total compared to their non-Mega version. Starmie gains 140, which is just an incredibly high amount. The actual split of these stats is heavily just speed at 120, then a bunch of attack and special attack as well, solid defense and special defense as secondary stats, but quite a low HP base stat, so it's squishy a little bit, but it's a dual typing water psychic, which means it has a lot of resistances and a few weaknesses too. This is one where the potential for this Pokemon is really high. It can use things like Surf to devastate in PvP, and it can use things like Light Screen to help boost the tankiness both of itself and the team if you switch it out. And being that it has great stats in both attack types, it has a ton of variety of moves available to use effectively. Moving on then, let's talk about our second priority attacker on the list, which is going to be Lucario. Mega Lucario is fighting steel dual typing. Steel provides a ton of good resistances, and overall, with both types together, your only weak points are fire, ground, and, well, fighting itself. Everything else is either neutral, resisted, or double resisted. Attack base stat of 145 in Mega Evolution is very solid, but also 140 for special attack, so you can work in some specials too to give you a bit more coverage for different enemies. Then 112 base speed in Mega, which is higher than average, and while speed works very differently in real-time combat within this game, it mostly just affects your cooldown time on moves, which means more speed lets you spam attacks more frequently, and that really is the key to victory in a lot of scenarios in the game. Also, on top of having bullet punch as a priority attack like we have with Scizor, Lucario can also get extreme speed, which while not getting the same attack type bonus with him, is a 65 power priority attack with the same extremely quick attack animation that bullet punch has. So two really solid priority moves. You could use quick attack too if you want for a third one, or just build some other coverage or defense with protect and buffs like sword stance. Overall, this is a much more well-rounded, high-speed priority attacker, though there are no special moves with priority you can learn inside of this game. But compared to Scizor, you sacrifice a small amount of attack and a bit of defense to gain a bit more speed and the special attack for potential bonus coverage. After that then we've got Meganium, and this one is quite an interesting one, as it's just a massive wall of a Pokemon, really. This one's Mega Evolution is new inside of this game, and on top of adding fairy typing, which basically removes the bug weakness while adding a couple of new resistances too, most importantly being a full-on immunity to Dragon, with Dragon being one of the most popular Pokemon and move types to use in the game. On top of that, some quite solid mixed base stats with HP, special attack, and special defense. And it has some relatively solid special attack for the actual offensive part as well. That said, it also has access to self-healing moves like Giga Drain to sustain that tankiness even longer. You can use things like Light Screen and Reflect to not only increase your own tankiness, but the tankiness of any other Pokemon in the party if you then switch out to use them. And you can also use something like Solar Beam just to take advantage of a very high damaging move for your high special attack stat too. But essentially this is just a Pokemon that can stand as a wall through a sea of incoming damage of either kind while keeping itself alive regardless of what type of damage is coming. Moving on then, let's talk about Greninja. He is a funky new one, and to get his Megastone you do have to get to rank F in the ranked PvP Battle Royale game mode, which can be done in like half an hour or so to an hour, maybe, depending on how it goes, but Greninja itself is pretty much the best general mixed attack option in the game for a Mega. He's got 142 speed as a base stat, which is insanely high, and then 133 special attack and 125 attack. These are two solid numbers that alone wouldn't be too remarkable, but having both of these together with the kind of speed he has a ton of potential, though he can definitely be quite squishy. While he has a fair few resistances as a mixed water and dark type, he also has a fair few weaknesses, so he's sort of a high risk, high reward type of guy really. Not to mention the fact that he has Water Shuriken as one of his attacks, his signature attack specifically, and it's just a really strong attack in this game, especially with the way that they've changed the multi-hit moves to work. After that, we've got Aggron as a pure physical wall of a Pokemon in this game. Aggron can withstand a ridiculous amount of physical damage for a very, very long time. He has a base stat in Mega form of 230 defense, which is nuts. To compensate for that, he's got very low speed, but he has 140 attack base stat, which is not bad at all. And he also has access to Heavy Slam as an attack, and while he is a super heavy Pokemon, that means that basically you can block any physical hits just with high physical defense, use something like Iron Defense to even make yourself tankier, and then you've got Heavy Slam as your main source of damage output against anything that it makes sense to use it on. And of course, it is a steel type Pokemon, which means it has a ton of great resistances, poison immunity, and only 3 actual weaknesses. After that, we've got the special defense equivalent, which is going to be Dragalge, one of the new Megas in this game. 163 special defense is quite solid for a base stat. It can learn Double Team, which is essentially something that can function as an iframe dodge in this game, and importantly, for flipping it all into offense, it can learn Toxic as a move, which is a really fun move in Legends Z-A and the real-time combat system it has. In other Pokemon games, this deals increasingly high health percentage damage each turn, so it scales upwards over time, but in this game, which does not have turn-based combat, it does that on a timed interval. There are plenty of ways to drag out combat over time, either just to see tankiness, or you can even do things like wait to switch Pokemon after one gets knocked out while Toxic is just ticking away and ends the fight for you, and the only fights that Toxic doesn't seem to work on are the rogue Mega Evolutions in the story, as they probably guessed that escalating percent damage would be a bit overpowered for those in particular. Moving on then, we've got Charizard Y, and this is the one that you probably probably could have predicted if you knew the relative power level of Megas before this game. It does lose a fair bit from the fact that abilities do not exist in this game, as its normal ability was a big game changer, especially for PvP. But it still has 165 special attack base stat, which is incredibly high, as well as good speed, good special defense, and decent HP base stats as well. Flamethrower, Inferno, Overheat, even things like Solar Beam it can use for coverage. This thing just has great moveset availability, and then Fire Flying dual typing. It only has 3 weaknesses, Water, Electric, and double weak to Rock, but has a ton of resistances too. Just overall, an extremely strong Mega Pokemon choice with a major focus on special attack specifically. Finally then, let's talk about Mega Salamence. This was a just classically super strong one before this game, again partially due to its ability, which is not a thing in this game sadly, but it still has extremely impressive base stats, 145 attack and 120 special attack, so while it is definitely a physical attacking Pokemon as a main sort of focus, special attack on this is still very serviceable if you just want a little bit more coverage. And then just all around, really nice HP, defense, and special defense too, along with one of the faster speed stats that a Mega can actually have. So statistically speaking, this thing is an absolute monster in pretty much every category. On top of that, it is flying and dragon dual type, so double weakness to ice, weakness to dragon and fairy, but then a good pile of resistances as well as full immunity to ground, all on top of a great bit of potential moveset too. That just about does it for today then everyone, a list of 10 of the best Mega Evolved Pokemon to use in Pokémon Legends Z-A, in the hopes of making your team a little bit stronger, or even just helping you choose which new Pokemon you want to actually give a go with properly too. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy using these guys in game as well. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.